I want to talk a little bit about something that I'm bringing together with both of the businesses that I've run. So if any of you have been following me for a while, I did career coaching and resume writing. I still do that. I don't actively promote it. I will be bringing that back in soon, so stay tuned. And now I am a board certified holistic health practitioner who focuses on autoimmune conditions and the connection to trauma. Okay, and I want to marry those two. What do you think about that? And I'm going to explain a few things that might make sense about marrying them and get you guys to think, because what I'm going to bring to you in the coming months is going to be fire, okay? So when we're children, what is the biggest thing that we need from our caregivers? Trust. We need to know that they're going to be there. We need to know that we're going to get food, right? We need to know our basic needs are met. We need to know that when we go and scrape our knee, that they're going to be there to love on us. They're going to put their damn phone down. They're going to stop what they're doing and love on us. Because when you love on a child, you're regulating their nervous system. And if we can't, as a young child, get our nervous system regulated, we can't learn that from our parents. That is the only place we should learn it from. Yes, you can learn from other sources, but our caretakers are the ones who are supposed to teach us that, okay? But if you can't do that, how in the world do you think you're going to handle conflict in the workplace? How do you think you're going to handle reject from a job interview, resume never got accepted, relationship, friendship gone south? How do you think that's all going to be handled if you don't know how to regulate your nervous system and you haven't been taught to trust? Okay, literally, it's a matter of life and death for a child. It is literally life and death. Okay, you have to be able to trust the adults around you. Then, as you move into being an adult, what do you have to do? You have to learn to trust other authoritarians, right? And I don't say like, you know what I mean, like people with authority. Okay, you have to be able to trust them too. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but your life is going to suck, okay? And I say that because I've been there, okay? I have been there. I didn't know. I thought I trusted them. But time and time again, I lost hope, okay? And I speak about this quite a bit on podcasts and on social media and on stages, that we have to be able to have a regulated nervous system in order to survive. Okay, many of you guys are stuck in what's called sympathetic. That's part of the nervous system, by the way. You have sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is your go, 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 go all the time. People call you driven. People call you tenacious. Then you got parasympathetic, which is, these are what people are usually calling like the lazy people, or just go with the flow. But we need to have both. And if you don't have both and you're just driving to achieve in the workplace and in this world, I'm sorry, but you're missing out on the other half. And vice versa. If you are just like, well, I shouldn't try that hard because, no one's going to accept me anyways. Sorry, but you're going to have a little drive as well. Okay? Hope that all makes sense. So having childhood trauma, it's going to show up in not just the workplace, it's going to show up in so many other areas of life. Okay? When you grow up in a dysfunctional home, okay, they're all going to have dysfunction in some manner, but I'm saying like a toxic dysfunctional home where the parents have gone through trauma and it's unresolved, okay? I was one of those, okay? I was one. You learn not to trust your own judgment. How many of you out there, raise your hands if you question what you do on a pretty regular basis? Question the decisions you make. Question the plan that you're ready to implement at work, and you're like, but so-and-so just said that about me, and I don't know if they're going to like it, and I'm just not going to present it. This lack of self-trust, it plays out as imposter syndrome. It's another word that's been thrown around these days, right? I've seen it so many times when people have grown up in homes of abuse. And now abuse doesn't just mean physical or sexual, okay? It means emotional, verbal, spiritual, if people are using a religion against you, okay? It could be emotional neglect, right? If you come in with a skin knee, or you're sad, you got bullied at school, and you just want to tell your mom or dad, and they ignore you. That's emotional neglect, y'all, okay? That's abuse, all right? It's your job as a parent, and this is just on a side note here, it's your job as a parent to listen to your kids, because what they have to say, they won't always say to you because you'll constantly ignore them. They'll stuff their emotions and all the things. So unresolved trauma, okay, and if you don't think you have trauma, we all do in some manner, but unresolved trauma leads you to doubt yourself, distrust others, and prevents you from doing things like working under pressure well. You're going to blow. You're going to use substances. All those things, okay? So it's basically what I like to call, lately I've kind of coined this now, is unresolved trauma is like a ticking bomb. Okay, it's going to blow at some point. Your health is going to deteriorate. You're going to get some kind of usually gut issue. You're going to get an infection. You're going to have such leaky gut that you're going to invite things like when there's a mold, when there's a cold, you're going to get sick all the time. Maybe you're already there. Maybe. But if your trauma is unresolved, okay, and you're stuffing feelings, you're not getting angry, whatever, it can just turn into this massive outburst. It's unnecessary. And people are going to be like, then they're going to judge you, okay? Then they're going to be like, what happened to him or her? Like, what side of the bed did they wake up on? And you might ruin relationships because of it, okay? You might ruin relationships. You might not get that job. You might be fired from that job. You might lose a spouse over it. Who knows? But here's the cool thing, and this is what I really want to tell you. Resolving that trauma is possible, okay? The path to your best self, right? We're all about designing the best you here, is doing the hard work. And I speak from personal experience. It is hard work. It is very, very hard work. This is not for the people who are just going to do whatever they can just to barely get by, okay? This is hard work. But I'm telling you, the other side is so beautiful, okay? The first thing you got to do is make sure we're identifying our triggers, okay? Is it we feel like we're under pressure at work? Stop. Why are we feeling under pressure? What are we not doing, thinking, feeling? What happened in childhood that would make us feel like that? I always go back to childhood because all of our belief systems, our feelings, our body sensations, 99% of that comes from childhood, okay? Our home environment, okay? So if you're feeling that this out of proportion, like anger or anxiety or stress, like if a colleague comes to you and asks if you're okay, like don't ignore that, explore it, okay? So maybe you're actively avoiding things. This is very common for someone who is who's been dealing with trauma for a long time. You tend to avoid locations, people, events. You say you're gonna like do something, and then like last minute you're like, yeah, no, I'm not feeling too certain about that, okay? I've been there, okay? People call me out on it. When they call you out on it, do something about it, okay? When you suffer from, and then the third thing is when you suffer from like physical signs of stress, okay? Your cortisol levels are high, you've got gut issues, brain fog, fatigue. You don't even want to get out of bed. Maybe you're wired but tired, okay? I've been there way too many times. Or you just completely crash. Maybe you get panic attacks. Maybe you get really strong heart palpitations. Okay, don't ignore those, okay? Our body speaks in symptoms. Symptoms themselves, like just the active symptoms is normal, but it's not okay. Okay, symptoms are our body telling us something is wrong, okay? And we're not gonna feel perfect all the time. All you perfectionists out there, we're not gonna feel perfect all the time, okay? But the best thing I want you to do is, I always say, and someone asked me this on a podcast today actually, they said, what's the number one thing you'd want people to do who know they've been experiencing trauma? Please find a trauma-informed therapist. I am not a therapist, but I am a trauma-informed practitioner in the holistic health world. I do understand it. I do know the processes around that, okay? The physical aspects of it and connecting all the body systems around trauma. But find a trauma-informed talk therapist, please. If you need resources, please let me know in the comments or send me a message, okay? Okay, then join some support groups. Okay, there's so many out there. And again, if you put whatever trauma you've dealt with, emotional abuse trauma, childhood trauma, Google it. Google's great these days, isn't it? Okay, and the biggest thing too, I see a lot of things are biggest things, but this one is really huge, self-care. And it's not just going to get a massage. It's not just, sitting down and watching a movie. It's not just like painting your nails. It's really just acknowledging that you don't have to go all the time. Sorry. You don't. And you don't have to sink into that mode of, I'm going to sit and watch Netflix all day. Okay? Self-care is being self-aware. Being like, you know what? I think today, my middle son actually did this a few weeks ago. He was like, Mom, I'm not going to school. And I'm like, the heck you aren't? Like, it's my busy day. You're going, right? He's like, I'm not going. And I just sit there, and we were sat there with a social worker at school and some other teachers at the entrance. And I'm like, I said, you know what? Yes, you can stay home today. And he had a self-care day. He's like, I feel like taking a bubble bath. Okay, 10 o'clock in the morning, go take a bubble bath. That's fine. He came back and he's like, I'm going to color. I'm going to do some Legos. And that was exactly what he needed. And the cool thing is he knew what he needed. And it took me being aware that he knew what he needed and acknowledging that. So please, if we, right, as adults, think about this. And a little side note, as adults, we have PTO days. Please use them. Okay? Yes, you can use them to do vacations, but sometimes vacations in themselves are a lot of work. Okay? So take those days. Have a hobby. I just was painting the other day. I haven't painted in a while. Okay? It's this whole put your own oxygen mask on first. So big. Okay? And we don't think about that. We all are so big on, we want to help people. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I know, as I've learned through my journey over the years, if I'm not helping myself and I'm trying to tend to everyone else, at one point, I'm going to crash. And so are you. Okay? Please, you can't be your best self professionally, in your home, in your community, in your church. You can't be your best self. Okay? If you're pouring from a cup that is cracked with unresolved trauma. Okay? So you got to work at that. And guess what? You're not going to make that crack go away. It's going to be a part of you. That's the important part to remember. It's going to be a part of you, but you have to understand that you have to start sealing that crack so no more drips out, because your unresolved trauma, just like my parents, their unresolved trauma deeply affected me and my sister and everyone else around them. And they thought, well, you know what? I'm good. Like, I got it under control. They didn't. And it severely affected. Okay, because they didn't take care of themselves first. And so I'm telling you this out of the bottom of my heart, not just as a practitioner with all the knowledge and the science and studies and stuff behind it. I'm telling you from personal experience, please take care of yourself first. I tell this to resume coaching clients, career coaching clients, holistic health coaching clients. You gotta take care of yourself first. And it might take some time, okay? But we don't want to put people into the workforce, into executive positions, if they're just not well. Because those people are making decisions, and you might be one of them, making decisions for a large organization, and you're not well. That doesn't go over well, does it? So please get the help that you need. And if you need any of those resources that I didn't mention, please go ahead and message me, comment, whatever. Please feel free to share anything that you feel from this episode here. I would love to just be in the comments, and even if you find something that resonates with you too and you want to get on a call with me, I'll put that link in the notes as well.